Please join together in a word of prayer. We gather here today in remembrance of all the tangible points in time that make up Center. We celebrate Center College that has, for 202 years now, empowered students with knowledge. We look back to our college's past in admiration of all its achievements, while simultaneously acknowledging our faults. We give thanks for each president of our institution and for their unyielding commitment towards excellence on our campus. In celebrating its achievements, we give thanks the Center is an institution that empowers each and every one of us with knowledge, humility, empathy, and kindness. We give thanks for our professors, administrators, and staff for teaching us, equipping us, and taking care of us as if we were their own family. As students of this institution, we are grateful for Center and the familial community it has provided for us all. This day of celebration is an opportunity to mark a new vision for a new era. We're grateful for the way that Milton and Deana Moreland have already manifested a sense of loving warmth and made us feel like family. We pray that you would guide the Morelands on the straight path as they lead us into our 3rd century. May they foster a commitment to intercultural sensitivity and equity, to academic excellence, and to civic empowerment. Give them the wisdom to preserve the best of the old while embracing the new. We pray peace and blessings upon them in their new endeavors as they lead us with boldness and insight. May we be reminded that the task before Center belongs to all of us. In an era when so many suffer from mental unwellness and physical illness, may we rededicate ourselves to a renewed focus on health and wellness of all kinds. In an era when communication suffers from too much of the superficial and not enough of the significant, may we demonstrate civil dialogue about the meaningful. In an era of new awareness of systems of dominance and exclusion, may we create a campus culture that is welcoming and inclusive to all students, staff, and faculty. In an era when oppression reasserts itself in unexpected ways, may we be those who challenge the strong and empower the weak. We pray these things with the sense that we have been called to go from here to bring peace and understanding to the world. May this be the task before the Morelands and before us all. In the name of God, the most gracious, the most merciful. Amen.
Good afternoon. Welcome to an event we've been anticipating for quite some time. One might even argue it seems like an eternity. The inauguration ceremony to officially install Dr. Milton C. Moreland as the 21st president of Center College. My name is Mark Nunley, Center College class of 1980, and I have the distinct honor of serving as the chair of the board of Center's Board of Trustees. In this role, and on behalf of the college, I extend a warm welcome to my fellow trustees in attendance, to our honored guests, delegates representing universities from across the nation, members of the senior staff, alumni, parents, and friends, and students, faculty, and staff. I must admit I feared this day would never come, as I said, and it's hard to believe that it was more than 20 months ago that I stood on this very stage at this podium to introduce Dr. Moreland as our new president at an all-campus assembly on February 6, 2020. The world was a different place then, and we had no idea that we would soon face a crisis of epic proportions that would radically impact our lives. It was 1 month later, March 6, 2020, that the first positive cases of COVID-19 were reported in Kentucky. Acting out of an abundance of caution, like so many sister institutions across America, it was decided on the 15th of March to send everyone home as soon as possible, moving to remote instruction for the remainder of the spring term after an extended 2-week spring break. I can only imagine what was going through Milton's mind as he anticipated taking over the leadership of Center College a few months later. as we sat in the middle of this global health crisis, which seemed without definition. Indeed, I can imagine those feelings included something like, "Oh my God, Dina, what have I gotten myself into?" Whatever his thoughts may have been initially, I can attest to the fact that his resolve has been nothing less than resolute. With nerves of steel, he's done not just a remarkable but a phenomenal job, steering our ship through the choppiest of waters and with the biggest winds we've seen ever since he took office on the 1st of July, 2020. And for those of us involved in the search for our new president, this has come as no surprise. As we moved through the process with deliberation and due diligence, it became crystal clear to all 18 members of the search committee that Milton Moreland was the right person at the right time to lead this institution that has a history of growing from strength to strength, including most recently under the amazing 2-decade leadership of President Emeritus John and Susie Rausch, who we welcome here today as well. Based on the Center trustees' strongly held belief that the world needs places like Center College to educate future leaders who want to make a difference in the world, we're unanimous in our confidence that Dr. Moreland would bring that purpose with innovation and vision to fulfill our aspirations for an even brighter future, increasingly moving from regional to national prominence as we begin our 3rd century of service. But more broadly, as I look back over the last 15 months, I attribute our achievements to the commitment President Moreland has inspired in our students, our faculty, and staff to work tirelessly in support of one another's health and safety and education. And he has done so by modeling the grace and kindness that is the hallmark of this caring and compassionate community. Center's impressive success dealing with COVID-19 has occurred because of our capacity to remain nimble and flexible, a necessity given the fluid nature of the pandemic, as we've recently seen. With Dr. Moreland's leadership, the college offered a blend of in-person, remote, and hybrid courses that managed to fulfill the high expectations we place on engaged individual learning and growth. As such, Center College remained open and safe during the entire 2021 academic year. As well, this new academic year is off to a very promising start. Again, inspiring leadership and dedicated and expert team has helped Center create a safe, fun, engaged, and supportive community. Rather than finding ourselves paralyzed by the grip of current health challenges, I'm immensely proud of the way Center has not merely managed to endure during the global pandemic, but how it has thrived and positioned itself to emerge even stronger once we emerge from this extraordinary period. Let me offer some highlights from Milton's rookie season as president. I think the metaphor comes pretty naturally. His 2 boys, Micah and Marcus, who will join us later today, are longtime football and baseball players, and he's the proud dad. I'll do so by focusing on 3 key areas of growth: pragmatic additions to expand our academic offerings, increased access and opportunity by strengthening our commitment to inclusion, and the expansion of our campus footprint with dynamic facilities that will help us welcome a broadened, more national in scope student body. Since Milton's arrival, Center has approved and now offers a new major in business that builds on our liberal arts tradition to prepare the next generation of thoughtful and responsible business leaders. More recently, Center added a new minor in Middle East Studies to offer a multifaceted understanding of this complex region and its very dispersed and displaced communities. This spring, in addition to current and study away programs in New York and Washington, D.C., students will have the opportunity to participate in a new study away program at Lake Tahoe, California, studying a curriculum, which, by the way, sounds like a pretty good place to go, studying a curriculum that will emphasize environmental studies, humanistic inquiry, and social justice. The setting along the shores of Lake Tahoe will also deepen the learning experience through guided wilderness experiences throughout the expanse of the High Sierra region. To strengthen Center's commitment to inclusive excellence, we also have expanded our relationship with the Posse Foundation the nation's principal leadership program for high-achieving students from underrepresented populations, adding a second cohort of 10 new scholars per year, arriving from Dallas, Memphis, Newark, Philadelphia, Richmond, and Virginia Beach. This inaugural National Posse cohort joins our 16th Posse cohort of talented students, a group now consisting of nearly 200 scholars from the last almost 20 years, of whom I am most proud as they hail from my hometown of Boston. With the generous support of the James Graham Brown Foundation, Center has also created the new J.H. and R.D. Atkins Scholars Program. This new research program will allow students to engage in scholarship that address such issues as poverty and social injustices through the lens of the academic discipline they choose. Each student will work with a faculty mentor, complete research, and create a final research project to be shared publicly and archived by the college, thereby contributing to Kentucky's social justice resources. Impressive and strategic capital projects have been completed as well, all supporting educational excellence, and more are on the way. Renovations to Grace Doherty Library and Crounce created the new Center Learning Commons devoted to maximizing the academic success and personal growth of all Center students through collaborative learning across the college. Support for our STEM programs has been enhanced through the renovation and expansion of Olin Hall to create the Knowlton Center for Science and Mathematics. An impressive component in this project, which you should visit while you're here, was the careful attention devoted to relocating our famous pendulum, which is now visible from West Walnut through a large glass window. The new home for Center Works in downtown Danville on the 3rd floor of the Hub is now also complete. An extraordinary slate of program has fostered growth of an entrepreneurial mindset among our students and has also involved important educational outreach to our Danville and Boyle County communities. And at least as I understand it, perhaps most exciting for our students here today, Einstein Brothers Bagels has opened in Grace Doherty Library, and I understand the lines are typically out the door. If this were not enough, tomorrow we will break ground for the largest and most expansive capital project in the history of the college. This 135,000 square foot initiative for wellness and athletic excellence will set a new standard for holistic wellness and education and athletics at a top-ranked liberal arts college and reflects Center's commitment to invest in facilities and programs that enhance student success, hone leadership skills, and prepare graduates for lives of impact. I mentioned earlier that all these projects have been strategic, geared to strengthen and deepen the Center educational experience, but they are just the beginning. To make sure that our aspirations are aligned as we chart our path for the college's future, President Moreland has also launched a comprehensive strategic planning process that will build on our existing strengths and values in a way that brings even greater relevancy to what we offer to the bright and talented young people who enroll at Center. While still being finalized for review and approval by our board, I'm excited about the emerging priorities of the plan. An even greater focus on community engagement, as well as career and professional readiness and experiential learning, will define Center's strategic direction, strengthening and reinforcing our renowned tradition of teaching and academic excellence. And by embracing inclusive excellence, we aspire to assure our ability to support faculty, staff, and students from diverse backgrounds by fostering a genuine sense of belonging as the foundation for an innovative and dynamic campus community that encourages excellence in all its forms. I'll stop there. But let me remind you that all this has been accomplished over a mere 15 months and during a global pandemic. I can't wait to see what continues to unfold under Milton's leadership, along with the impact this will have on future generations of Center graduates who are sure to transform our world by making a difference for good in their lives of work and service. Milton, we all wish you Godspeed. It is now my great pleasure to introduce an impressive Center graduate who has been described as representing all that is best in a new generation of leadership in Kentucky. This high praise comes from our very own and fellow trustee and friend, Crit Llewellyn, Center class of 1974 and 56th Lieutenant Governor of the Commonwealth of Kentucky. Credit added of her fellow alumna, she's highly competent, grounded in integrity, and passionate about public service. I've watched her grow and mature since her days at Center, and I'm confident that she will be one of the strongest leaders Kentucky has seen. Distinguished guests, it is my honor to introduce the 58th Lieutenant Governor of the Commonwealth, the Honorable Jacqueline Coleman.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Unley, for that kind introduction, and Crit, thank you for those kind words. I can't tell you how much they mean, especially coming from you. And thank you to everyone who has gathered here with us today for this historic moment in the life of Center College. I am honored to bring commendations from the Governor's Office on behalf of Andy Beshear on the occasion of the inauguration of Milton C. Moreland as the 21st President of Center College. While the Governor was unable to join us today, you did get the Center graduate, after all. President Moreland, on behalf of the entire Center community, I wish you good luck as you assume the mantle of leadership and continue the tradition of excellence that has had such a powerful influence on our Commonwealth, on our country, and on our world. Ceremonies such as this demonstrate the respect that we have for the important institutions like Center College that have such a profound influence and impact on moving our world forward in meaningful ways. This event is especially meaningful to me as a Center College alumna from the class of 2004. I experienced firsthand the transformative power of the liberal arts education that Center offers. And it's safe to say that I would not be the person that I am, nor would I be where I am today without the impact of the Center experience and the trajectory it had on my life. Many of the values that come to define me were cultivated right here at Center. Hard work, resilience, rising to meet the moment, and learning to see the world through the eyes of others. I had plenty of people here on campus who believed in me and pushed me to better myself. You see, that is the one thing that separates Center from all other places like it. It's our people. I was fortunate to learn from so many gifted educators, like Dr. Clarence Wyatt, one of my history professors. He is now serving as the president of Monmouth College in Illinois. My basketball coach, Wendy Austin, was an All-American herself, but more importantly, she was a role model and a mentor for so many girls like me from tiny little Kentucky towns. She helped us believe and made us realize that we could do anything that we put our minds to. I'm grateful that when I come back to watch the women's basketball team play, Coach Austin is still a staple on the sidelines. I was blessed to learn from Professor J.H. Atkins, who is now a city commissioner right here in Danville. Not only did Professor Atkins help me to become a teacher leader, but he broadened my horizons. I was a junior at Center, and he was the first person of color that I ever had as a teacher. Growing up in one of the smallest towns in rural Kentucky, it's common to only have teachers that look like me. So when I came to Center, I was exposed to a diversity of experience and thought that was different than my own. I became a better student, a more informed citizen, and a more mindful leader. For more than 200 years, Center education has been defined by academic rigor, intellectual bravery, unquestioned integrity, and the search for truth. These are just some of the foundational elements that contribute to the Center experience and its powerful examination of self and the world, and why the relationships formed on this campus are so meaningful. Now more than ever, our world needs thoughtful and creative leaders who can build bridges of understanding, lead through change, and address challenges of a complex world, and who do so respectfully, with empathy and compassion. In my role as Lieutenant Governor and Secretary of Education and Workforce Development, I wholeheartedly believe in the power of education to change lives. Education can provide every child with stability, with hope, and with opportunity. It can change the trajectory of a child's life and their family's lives forever. President Moreland, I am grateful that you share in these aspirations, and I admire your belief that a center education should be purpose-driven because it expresses the ideal and practical manifestation of these goals. As Center seeks to build a community of inclusive excellence, through your leadership, it reinforces the important role that higher education plays in Kentucky's future. Another distinguishing characteristic of a center education is the expectation that you take the values, experiences, and education that you receive here and share them with the world. For 200 years, we have had a rich history of educating influential leaders who have done just that. In the area of public service, as Mr. Nunley noted, I am forever grateful to follow in the footsteps of our 56th Lieutenant Governor, Crit Llewellyn, who has been an inspiration and a role model to me and countless other Kentucky women who look up to her. Besides 3 additional lieutenant governors, 11 governors attended Center College, including notable public figures like Kentucky Governor John Y. Brown and Tennessee Governor Austin Peay III. And Mr. Nunley follows in the footsteps of Kentucky's first governor, Isaac Shelby, who served as the first chair of the Center College Board of Trustees. Because of my gratitude for the pivotal and life-changing role that Center has played in my life, the swearing-in ceremony for Governor Beshear and myself intentionally involved numerous Center connections. I was sworn in by Kentucky Supreme Court Justice Michelle Keller, who is the proud parent of 2 Center graduates. Governor Beshear was sworn in by Chief Justice John Minton Jr., also the parent of a Center grad. Fred Vinson of Louisa, Kentucky, served in all 3 branches of government and served as Chief Justice in the Supreme Court. I remember his painting fondly as it made its way to many home basketball games over my career here at Center. Chief Justice Vinson was preceded on the Supreme Court by John Marshall Harlan, who also known as the Great Dissenter, for his courage to defend civil liberties, most notably in Plessy versus Ferguson. Pierce Lively, class of 1943, is rightly revered for his service as a federal judge for the U.S. Court of Appeals for the 6th Circuit in Cincinnati. After his retirement, he returned to Center, and for 15 years, team-taught courses on constitutional law and civil liberties with Professor Dan Stroop. And this tradition of leadership and service is being continued by Ben Beaton, who was recently seated as a U.S. District Judge for the Western District of Kentucky. I'm sure he draws daily from his experience as a law clerk for the late Judge Ruth Bader Ginsburg. Center alumni are fortunate to stand on the shoulders of these giants and all the countless others who have made a profound difference in this world. Who knows? Maybe Center will even be able to lay claim to her first female governor someday soon. President Moreland, this is the legacy you are entrusted to honor and which we are all confident you will continue. As you have demonstrated throughout your career at Rhodes and already during your time at Center, you understand that cultivating a broadly diverse community is crucial to our educational mission and to our commitment of leadership. Today, as we officially mark your inauguration as president, we recognize that you not only lead, but also join a collaborative community of scholars committed to lifelong learning, leadership, and service. A community committed to diverse thought and intellectual curiosity, and a community deeply rooted in the search for truth, service to others, and community engagement. It is an honor to be here today to celebrate your inauguration as the 21st president. I am confident in saying on behalf of all of those gathered here today, we look forward to the extraordinary work you will accomplish during your long and successful tenure as the president of Center College. Thank you.
grauen Stunden, wo mich des Lebens wilde Kreis umstrickt. Hast du mein Herz zu warme Lebenswunden, hast mich in eine bessere Welt entrückt, in eine bessere Welt entrückt.
I'm Andrea Abrams, Vice President of Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion. Dr. Marjorie Haas is a philosopher by training and earned bachelor's, master's, and doctoral degrees in philosophy from the University of Illinois at Urbana-Champaign. She has published widely on the philosophy of language, logic, and feminist philosophy, and is an award-winning teacher. She served more than 16 years as a member of the philosophy faculty and subsequently as provost at Moreland College. Then Dr. Haas served for 8 years as president of Austin College. Her next presidency was at Rhodes College. During that time, she expanded the college's engagement with the city of Memphis, enhanced inclusive excellence, and led a comprehensive and inclusive strategic planning process, positioning the college for success in the next decade. Her other leadership roles include being a board member of the Association of American Colleges and Universities and a former chair of the board of the National Association of Independent Colleges and Universities. Dr. Haas was a member of the Council of Independent Colleges from 2012 to 2016. This included frequently presenting at the annual President's Institute and serving as a faculty member for the New President's Program. In July 2021, Dr. Haas became president of the Council of Independent Colleges. Dr. Haas is also the author of a leadership guide for women in higher education, published by Johns Hopkins University Press in August 2021. In the book, she offers insights to women in leadership on such topics as navigating conflict, finding joy in their work, and deepening confidence in their own ambition. Dr. Haas may not remember this, but she reached out to me after my first year as Center's Chief Diversity Officer. She did not know that I was struggling with imposter syndrome or having confidence in my own ambitions as a leader. In the phone call with me, she offered encouragement and herself as a resource. Moreover, Dr. Haas modeled for me what gracious leadership looks like. That conversation, though relatively brief, was a valuable moment in my evolution as a leader in higher education. Therefore, it is my sincere privilege to introduce Dr. Marjorie Haas.
Thank you. That was very, very kind, and I absolutely do remember that conversation. Trustees, faculty, staff, students, honored guests, it's a joy to celebrate with you this afternoon the inauguration of Milton Moreland as the 21st president of Centre College is a momentous day for this campus and for all who care about higher education. I was delighted and honored by the invitation to be with you and to provide some national context for this significant event. Centre is an independent college, standing on its own feet and rightly proud of its strong history. But it's also part of several networks and associations, including the Council of Independent Colleges, where it is one of more than 650 sister institutions here in this country and abroad, each devoted to student-centered, relationship-driven liberal arts education. Together, we educate almost 2 million students every year. We do that one by one on 650 unique campuses, each with their own cultures and missions. Individually, institutions like Centre are on the small side, but collectively, we are a mighty part of the broader higher education ecosystem and a boon to the cultural, political, and economic success of this country and the world. Centre is a marvelous and magnificent example of why our sector matters. Centre graduates earn a very prestigious credential. They're launched towards successful careers. But the education they received here is about much more than that. A Centre education fosters lives of learning, leadership, and service. We've seen some magnificent examples of that already. The content of a given course might be the writings of Plato or Shakespeare or Baldwin or Sontag. It might be geometry or biochemistry. But whatever the topic, the real curriculum is something even more comprehensive. The real curriculum at Centre is the education of the spirit. It's about helping each student come to see that their insights and their actions matter. It's about cultivating habits of mind, such as humility, consistency, compassion, and respect. It's about coming to love justice and the search for truth, to hold high the values of each human life and to know oneself deeply. These habits, they grow best in communities of care, where you are known and challenged and pushed and loved. Communities where learning occurs amidst relationships and togetherness. Communities where your assumptions are tested, your failures are noted, and your success is celebrated. Communities where everyone has a seat at the table, a table where differences abound, but the commitment to remain there, eating together, engaging in dialogue is firm. Centre College is that kind of community, and each of you here has participated and continues to participate in the hard work required to build and sustain it. The liberal arts colleges that dot our nation are inevitably radical projects, no matter how old their buildings or sleepy their traditions. We have a radical foundation because we foster change and growth and yield graduates who ideally can think for themselves about the world as it truly is, even when such thinking disrupts the status quo or demands difficult actions. The courageous creativity, this courageous creativity drives innovation, it drives social progress. Recent research by the National Association of Independent Colleges and Universities reveals the ways that our colleges serve as anchors for local communities, engines for social mobility, and hubs for community service and leadership. Center exemplifies this in many, many ways. The past 18 months, a time of pandemic, racial reckoning, sadly, a time of truth decay, and economic uncertainty, have highlighted the challenges colleges like Center face. But the past year and a half is only part of the story. Humanity is in the midst of a great cultural and historic change as we adapt to revolutionary developments in technology, as we strive to make the promises of democracy and economic growth truly available to a diverse citizenry, and as we grapple with the fragility of our planet and its life-sustaining ecosystem. The liberal arts colleges that thrive will be the ones that tackle those competing pressures head on, the ones that protect and expand student-centered learning grounded in free inquiry and responsive to a diverse population of democratic citizens, the ones that understand the changing nature of work and public life, that build a culture of inclusive excellence and find real solutions to affordability and access. I am deeply inspired by the vision that President Moreland has laid out for Center College. He is offering the right kind of leadership for this college and this moment. Even as he has led this campus through this pandemic, he was looking broadly at that landscape and heading boldly towards the future. And I am a little dizzy and overawed by the list of accomplishments that you laid out. It's just so impressive and exciting. Milton is a dear friend, and I am thrilled to see he has found a community here that loves and values his many talents. He impressed me when I met him a decade ago, and even more when I was fortunate enough to work closely with him side by side at Rhodes College, and then again as a presidential partner when we were both college presidents in the Association Colleges of the South and the SAA. You are a lucky bunch to have him with you. He's an accomplished scholar and teacher who understands the academic project from the inside. He is a nationally respected thought leader, someone other college presidents turn to for advice and counsel. As a leader, Milton has a special gift for keen-eyed clarity and an ability to look challenges squarely in the eye. Yet, he remains a boundless source of optimism and energy. Over and over again, sometimes in the middle of the night, I witnessed his creative and compassionate problem solving. I often would tell Milton that I thought of him as Solomon-like for the way he spots hinge points that motivate people to find common ground and row in the same direction. The colleagues and friends who know him best speak regularly of his intelligence, his integrity, his loyalty, his sense of humor, and his fanatic appreciation for D3 athletics. It's a true thing. I don't think he was ever actually officially banned from the sidelines, but he was certainly encouraged to move away and take a breath a few times. Everyone who works with Milton comes to appreciate the strength of his love for his family. Dina, Marcus, and Micah and their families, as well as Milton's extended family, who I know is here today as well, make many sacrifices in the service of Milton's leadership commitment. You've already discovered how delightful they are and how much they enjoy being part of campus life. Milton, I just say to you, Mazel Tov. You have my deepest personal congratulations and warmest wishes. And I bring the warm wishes as well from the full membership of the Council of Independent Colleges in Washington, D.C. I offer every blessing to Milton, to the Moreland family, and to the entire Center community. May God bless you and keep you. May God's light shine on you. And may God's face turn towards you and give you peace. Thank you for letting me be with you.
This is the big moment. As chair of the Board of Trustees of Center College, it is my distinct pleasure to stand before you today to install Milton C. Moreland as the 21st president of Center College. Milton, yeah. Milton, you have been a member of the Center family since February 2020. You officially joined us on campus in July 2020. Today, we formally welcome you to this community on which you have already made such a mark. You join a long line of distinguished leaders of Center College. Embodying the values of Center College, in a short time, you have become loved and respected member of this community. While guiding us through a time of global uncertainty, your compassionate and calm leadership has shown us that we have made a sound choice to name you the 21st president of the college. So now, under the authority invested in me by the Board of Trustees of Center College, I do hereby install you, Milton C. Moreland, as the 21st president of Center College with all the rights, privileges, and responsibilities, and they are many, appertaining thereto. I will now ask that Crit Llewellyn, the secretary of our board, bestow upon you the presidential medallion, symbolic of the honors and responsibilities of your office. Congratulations.
Nessun dorma, nessun dorma. Tu puria principessa, nella tua fredda stanza, guardi le stelle che tremano d'amore e di speranza. Ma il mio mistero è chiuso in me, il nome mio nessun saprà, no, no, sulla tua bocca la dirò, quando la luce splenderà. Ed il mio bacio scioglierà il silenzio che ti fa mia. stelle all'alba vincerà, vincerà, vincerà.
This place is magical. Wow. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you for coming this afternoon. It is incredible to be here, and I am so grateful to be part of this incredible center community. It is an honor. Our center story is the story of people, our alumni, our students, our faculty, incredible faculty, our staff. Yes. Our parents and friends, our supporters across the Commonwealth and across this nation and the world who come to celebrate Center College, a 200-year experience of changing lives, providing educational opportunities for thousands of people who have passed through our doors right here in Danville, Kentucky. My story is also one that's always connected to people. I'm so incredibly thankful to my wife, Dina, for the best possible partnership I could ever hope or dream of. I'm grateful to my sons and daughter-in-law, Marcus and Caroline. Micah, thank you for being here. As we see them take flight in their adult lives, it is so exciting to see what they're doing, and we are so proud to enjoy now their friendship and constant support. Two of my sisters, Monica and Melody, are here, and one of Melody's sons, Mason, is here, and I'm just so pleased to have some time with you. Mason is representing my 12 nieces and nephews who reside across this country, including quite a few who are watching in Boise, Idaho right now with my sister and brother-in-law, Melissa and Paul, and my brother and sister-in-law, Monty and Mary Beth, and all of their children, including as well my parents there, John and Fern Moreland, who just can't say enough about the love that they have given and the support that they have given through the years. And by the way, those of you listening, yeah, there were a lot of names that started with M's. I am right in the middle of the 5 M's. Don't mess with us. It's Melody, Monica, Milton, Monty, and Melissa. So we're big and we're bad. Also want to thank the Pritchett's, Dina's family, who all reside, for the most part, in Indiana and one in Hawaii, and love the support that you have given us through the years. It's been such a blessing to hear from friends and colleagues across the country, and representing my childhood in Idaho, Mike and Donna Powers are here with us, which is so fantastic, and representing our college years for Dina and me, Damon and Paulette Cathy are here, and it's just wonderful to have that fellowship again, kind of hearkening back. Do not ask them for any stories about me, please. Seriously, they don't even remember correctly. And of course, I'm grateful to Marjorie Haas, my former president and now colleague, and a person who has helped me in so many ways think about entering into this career now here at Center. to the incredible Board of Trustees of Centre College. We could not ask for a better set of leaders at this college who guide us, who provide support for us and thoughtful leadership in ways that go beyond the norm. They are a loyal group of supporters who also care deeply about the educational commitments that we have here. And I am so proud to be serving with you and for you. And of course, as noted earlier, it's such an honor to have a few of our presidents with us. I know that Rich Morrell is watching from Virginia with two others here that I'm so honored that they're with us, Mike Adams, John, and Susie Roush. Thank you. It is upon the foundation of your leadership that I can come in now and that our board chair can talk about some major accomplishments. Those accomplishments were not made in the last 15 months. They were built on the foundation of strong leadership for decades at Centre College. Thank you for all you have done and continue to do to help this place grow and mature and become a national model of a residential liberal arts college. Thank you. I can't say enough about the alumni of Centre College. Holy cow, I don't even quite understand it yet. It's magical. It really is. And when people talk about this Centre Mafia, I'm getting the feeling for what that means, and it's all good. But it is real, and I'm so pleased that our Lieutenant Governor Jacqueline Coleman can represent on the stage the alumni and the incredible accomplishments. But I am looking forward to getting to know you better in the coming years, and I just feel so welcome in this community, and thank you for your generous support to this college and your ongoing love. I give you my deepest thanks for that warm welcome you've given us the last 15 months and your incredible generosity. And I'm also just overwhelmed by our current students, many of whom are right here with us. Thank you for joining us this afternoon. It is awesome to be part of this community with you, and I'm so proud to be working with Sarah Ali, our SGA president, who gave our invocation and who is an incredible model of a Centre student, a person who's dedicated, who is smart, who is passionate, and who is going to change our world. So thank you, Sarah, for being part of this program. And finally, let me end the thank yous with a special shout out to Kelly Neshy, Megan Melby, Allison Elliott Shannon, Jackie Seaver, Tabitha Key, Professors Johan von Niekirk, Zachary Klobnock, and Gregory Touray. Thank you for the incredible music, and thanks to all of the students performing in the choir and in this incredible orchestra. Thank you so much. The first names on that list were the people that made this possible. They have organized and they have been thoughtfully planning for this event for months now, and I am so grateful for your tireless work. I hope if you're able to thank them today that you'll take that opportunity. Well, a few words. I stand before you this afternoon to celebrate both our history and our hope for the future. I want to speak briefly about why this is the most impactful type of educational experience that has yet to be developed on our planet. That's a big claim, but it's true. I want to make clear today that our residential liberal arts college community, established here for over 200 years, and which we reestablish together every day when we wake up on this campus and come back together to continue to thrive and to continue to champion inclusive excellence here, that this type of education is one that is most impactful. It has the deepest impact on individuals and our world, and I am so proud to be leading this institution at this moment. The hallmark of this community is our inclusive excellence, and it's our daily desire to build the tools to hold differences and contrasts together in our minds and in our spaces, to build a community where contrasting ideas and the juxtapositions and the differences of our philosophies, our habits, our ideas, our identities, they're held in common community and tested in the arena of critical inquiry. Even as we think about how to build a better future, we constantly explore our past and we hold those in tension. Our hope and our history, they're not two separate things. They're juxtaposed, but the difference is beautiful and the difference is real, but they are two parts of our community that belong together. We build resilience through taking on difficult challenges, but we do so in consistently supportive environment. So those challenges, but that support, that is what we're built of. Those juxtapositions that come together every day. We build in this pandemic world, we have all felt sadness, and we have all struggled to think about the losses that we have encountered. But at this very moment, we also hold on to our hope and our joy in our relationships. It's an incredible juxtaposition, but every day when we wake up, we find a way to tie those together and to push forward even with those different emotions in our minds at the same time. And that, to me, is part of what we do here as a community. I was struck recently by a Gallup poll, maybe you saw it 2 weeks ago, where they stated that in 114 of the 116 countries or territories included in this research last year, the percentage of people who prefer a calm life outnumbered those who prefer an exciting life by more than 50 points in those in 114 countries. It's an amazing thing. This is a moment, of course, where admittedly this pandemic and the strife, the racial reckoning, the political upheaval, it has, of course, caused all of us to want a bit more calm. That makes sense. Indeed, both for the health of our brains and our community well-being, we need calmness, we need rest, we need less stress at this particular moment. Yet we also know, even now, that our lives are richer, more purposeful, and healthier when we seek to balance that with innovation, with curiosity and adventure. Why not, in the midst of a world pandemic, start a strategic planning operation at Center College? Let's do it. We can do both. Like the process of developing a healthy brain, our community flourishes when we're agile, when we're open to new ideas, when we engage with people who have different identities than ours, and when we pursue our curiosities. We must balance the calm, I would tell those 114 nations. We must balance the calm with a consistent desire for excitement and exploration. They're not two ends of a separate mindset. They need to be together, to juxtaposed in our minds and in our actions, in our communities, in ways that drive us forward. That is Center's foundation for building an inclusive community. Center's success is built on the beautiful confluence of intercultural and interdisciplinary ideas and practices. We're stronger because we are diverse and inclusive. And we will be stronger yet because those become even larger priorities in our daily lives and habits, our policies and practices here at Center College. In our mutual search for truth and purpose, this residential liberal arts college is the perfect setting to bring people together in a shared space to grapple with difficult questions where we can disagree and we can have differences, but we work together. We play together, we research together, we create art together, we learn together, we eat together. This beautiful setting, this residential campus, is where we live and learn together, and we can almost intrinsically begin to appreciate our differences, promote respect for our shared humanity, and become a better community and better individuals because we cherish and we promote differences and inclusivity at the same time. Personally, the stories of my past are filled with the realization that the more I became part of an inclusive community, the more I had opportunities to truly refine my ideas and develop my skills. When surrounded by colleagues and friends who thought like me, who acted like me, who looked like me, who ate the same foods, who held the same worldviews, I was not challenged in my thinking. The strength of my worldviews and my ideas languished in that calm setting. Maybe it felt good, but it was not healthy. My opinions and thoughts were well received in that comfort zone, but I was not fully grappling with the complexity of thinking that could lead to deeper pursuits of truth and understanding. When I took chances and entered diverse spaces where my presuppositions were challenged, my thinking was consistently rubbing up against and interacting with difference, it was then in my intellectual journey and in the richness of my life that I was more fully realized. At Center and in our lives more generally, when we surround ourselves with people who have different ways of thinking and different lenses on the world, and when we prize working with and thinking with people who may not look like us, who may not come from the same places or the same backgrounds, speak our language, or who might have different identities than our own, in that setting, we create a rigorous intellectual environment that allows us to be learners who are bold, innovative, mature, and independent thinkers. About 30 years ago, I sat in the back of a white van in the middle of Jerusalem. I was preparing for a 3-hour drive with a group of people I'd never met before, but who I knew of, and we were headed to Sepphoris in modern Israel and Palestine. At that time, I had no idea it was going to be the site of my research for the next several decades. It was also the place where I met many center students, alumni, and faculty who also researched in that setting. It was the place where I began to know Center College as an incredible school. But at that time, I was sitting in that van and I was looking at the team we had assembled. I was a young graduate student at the time and was interested in early Roman period history and archaeology. But next to me, sitting there, somebody who was also interested in this site that had been occupied for over 3,000 years. There was a person who was, I remember him well, still know him to this day, very interested in Bronze and Iron Age pottery and material culture and the history from thousands of years before the period I was interested in. Next to him was a scholar of archaeozoology who would help us understand the animal remains from the site, enriching our knowledge of the plants and animals that lived in that region from thousands of years ago. A few seats up was a geoarchaeologist, excited about mapping the region, the landscape, and learning more about the regional interactions and trade patterns. A few seats up, we had a biologist who specialized in paleoethnobiology and paleoethnobotany. She would work with us to study fossilized plants, understand foodways. There was a chemist who studied soils to better understand daily activities that could be determined by the chemical analysis in the soils we were digging up. We had colleagues who specialized in the ancient literature from the region, testing ideas about historical reconstructions from the extant literary records and comparing that to the material culture, the archaeology. Other colleagues specialized in pottery and lamps, and from good old Center College, our colleague who specialized in glass manufacturing and production, Alicia Fisher, was part of that group as well. I was able, in my decades working in Sepphoris, to work and know and have close relationships with dozens of professional colleagues who brought different and interesting specializations to the table. That extraordinarily diverse interdisciplinary team made our reconstructions of that site's history so much richer and deeper and meaningful than any one of us could ever have conceived at that time. I tell that story because I think that was good training for becoming a college president. You got to bring a lot of people together, and you got to think about the ways that they are bringing that difference to the table. But in so doing, they make what we do together so much richer and deeper. And I think about it here at Center College because it is that interdisciplinary and inclusive habit that is our core habit, our core value, our hallmark right here in Danville. I think of those heady archaeological days of discovery when, right at this moment, we're encountering social and political rest in our world. As we continue to build annually our own diverse and inclusive team of students, faculty, and staff here at Center, we come together to repair divisions, promote greater understanding of the lived experiences of historically underrepresented people, and unite in our shared goal to build a stronger, more equitable, and more purposeful community and world. Our strong and vibrant community is a hallmark of this Center experience. It's our goal to create an environment that nurtures full participation and flourishing for every one of our students, our faculty, and our staff here on this campus as we prepare them and as we enable them to be leaders in a dynamic and multifaceted society. Our diverse perspectives, our diverse lived experiences, our diverse identities actually promote the meaningful dialogue and introspection that leads to greater understanding of our shared purpose. As was well stated a few moments ago by our Lieutenant Governor, Center has a long and distinguished history of developing civic leaders and engaged and responsible citizens. From this foundation, we must continue to be a vibrant, innovative, and relevant place for students to grapple with entrenched and sticky problems in our world and to bring new and relevant solutions to their communities. Center's excellence will continue to be based on a diverse group of thought and civic leaders who come together in a spirit of critical inquiry to seek freedom and justice and equity. That remains our highest purpose. It is through the work of our inclusive community that we will educate thoughtful, compassionate, and empathetic leaders who will continue to serve their communities with humility and respect as they work to build a more just, humane, and healthy world. I truly believe, I honestly do, I believe in the limitless potential of our students and our alumni and the transformative power of our education here. Over my 16 months of learning the stories about you, our students, our faculty, our staff, and alumni, I am so fully convinced that a Center College education is a major force for good in our world. As new technologies and globalization continue to change the dynamics of the workforce and the world in which we live, our liberal arts education is more vital now than it has ever been. Our rigorous curriculum provides breadth and depth of understanding and encourages students to engage with both artistic and scientific and humanistic ways of knowing as they develop the foundational skills needed for success in the unknown work and careers of their futures. Our faculty foster multidisciplinary minds and a broad spectrum of experiences that enable Center graduates to respond to the changing technologies, environments, and geopolitical forces that shape our world, thereby preparing our alumni as they graduate, our students, to be leaders in a world that will see even more dramatic impacts of disruptive technologies in the coming decades. Driven by our belief that the freedom and open exchange of ideas promotes a more just and inclusive society, we will expand opportunities at this college for all of our students to be involved in applying their knowledge through experiential learning, community engagement, internships, and living and working in even more study abroad and study away locations as they consistently prepare for their future careers. Center will increasingly be known for our experiential learning and co-curricular programming that provides a global perspective, enhances our students' communication skills, refines their leadership abilities, and prepares them for a lifetime of meaningful work and civic impact. I'm dedicated to ensuring that we continue the great tradition of challenging our students to have lofty goals and very high expectations for their lives. I'm dedicated to ensuring that every student here at Center knows that they belong here, and that in the midst of this very challenging learning environment, I've heard about y'all. The faculty, there's no easy A's here, I understand. In this very challenging learning environment, our students will have a supportive community that can help them lay a foundation for meaningful lives of leadership. I look forward to working with all of you as we learn and grow together, developing a community of inclusive excellence that provides a broad foundation for our mutual pursuits of meaningful and purposeful lives. Thank you for allowing me to join you on this amazing educational adventure. Colonels, let's capture this moment together and let's excel into the future. Thank you.
I'm John Wilson. I'm president of the faculty here at Center. And when I was asked to give the faculty response, I was a little worried that after a big speech, it would be like they're expecting me to give a response like after the State of the Union or something. Let me assure you, I will not be disagreeing with what we have said here. So, it is my great pleasure and privilege to present the faculty response on the inauguration of Milton Moreland as the 21st president of Center College. 21 is a significant number. Almost any 20-year-old college student will attest to that fact. 21 is a number that brings a change in status and a change in responsibility. Many card players have an affinity for the number 21. It is a winning number. It is a number you hope to be dealt. As one of the faculty members on the search committee 2 years ago, I'm confident in saying we all thought we had been dealt a winning hand with Milton. We were particularly pleased that he had come up through the faculty ranks and so clearly understood and believed in and articulated the value of the type of education we provide at Center. President Moreland, we look forward to your leadership. Lead us with confidence, knowing that you have come to a place with devoted alumni, dedicated faculty and staff, and a board of trustees that unfailingly supports this college. Lead us with boldness, for the bold will rise out of these difficult years stronger than ever before. Lead us with compassion and a sense of justice as we strive to make Center a place of opportunity for everyone. And finally, lead us with humility, ready to seek counsel and to incorporate the ideas of others into a common vision for the future. With your inauguration as our 21st president, the presidency of Center College has come of age. Your faculty, working together with you, hopes to make this a presidency of significance for our community, our Commonwealth, our country, and our world. Thank you. So at this time, I invite you to stand, if you are able, to join in the singing of the Alma Mater, Center Dear. You'll find the words on the last page of your program, and then please remain standing for the benediction afterwards.
Please remain standing for our words of benediction. God of our past, our present, and our future, we have gathered on this Inauguration Day to remember who we have been and to celebrate what we have become and to dream of what we might yet be. Today we hold together our history and our hope. We give thanks for past presidents of this institution whose dedication planted seeds that yielded the harvest of excellence we now enjoy. And we celebrate the Center College of today with gratitude for the academic excellence and civic spirit nurtured here, for relationships cultivated among us, and for the sense of purpose planted in lives that nourish the world beyond us. Now, in this 21st year of the 21st century, we give thanks for our 21st president, for Milton and Dina Moreland, who even as they reap from seeds sown long ago, will prepare new ground for harvests yet to come. We are grateful for their stewardship in an era of contagion and contention, deception and dissension. Informed by the ideals of our inheritance and by astute analysis of our age, may they lead with an ethic of empathy and equity. Give them boldness of vision and courage of conviction. For today, we also dream of who we will become. Where our grasp of yesterday is obscure and our comprehension of today incomplete, may we enlighten one another toward a brighter tomorrow. Where our dream of community is limited by the narrow boundaries of the past, may we expand our vision to ever broader horizons. Where long-held dreams of justice remain deferred, may our community be a foretaste of the world for which we hope. And if ever our hope withers, may we encourage each other in doing our work well, inspire one another in works of well-doing, and support each other in the work of wellness. Now, as we cross the bridge, connecting thousands of yesterdays to countless tomorrows, strengthen Milton and Dina and all of us for the good work that lies ahead. May our steps be quickened by the purpose and the promise calling us forward. Amen.